Hello everybody, Brandon Parker, back again with another tutorial video. It's been a while since I've done a tutorial video, so in this tutorial video, I'm going to be working with Sony Vegas Pro 13, and it just came out not too long ago, so I'm going to be talking about it, some of its features, and anything that's new about it, and just getting started on editing, since the very first tutorial I've ever done on my channel was Sony Vegas Pro 9, so I'm going to be showing you how to use Sony Vegas 13, and just for those who new to watching my tutorial videos, new to my channel and anything like that. So let's get into it and open up Sony Vegas 13. Alright, and talking about its features. So I'm going to show you a little bit on editing and stuff, just getting started. What you want to do when this first opens up and you see this, you're going to go to File, go to Properties first, and set it into the template that you want, to the editing format. So make sure it's, of course, 1920 by 1080, but we don't want it into 60i, this one, the default. We want it into 1080, 24p, 1920, this one, right here, 24 frames per second, which is, this one's correct. So we want this one. And it's because if you're a film student or you're working with film, you want this. But if you're going to be uploading mainly for YouTube and you're doing like gameplay videos or something like that, do 720 by 30p. 30 pixels is mostly for people who are doing gameplay videos, and going to 24 pixels if you're doing something in film. So since I'm going to be editing something that I shot with the film camera, which is Sony F3, so I use the Sony F3, so I'm going to do this one, 1080 24p. Okay, and make sure it's on best. Okay, leave that, and you might want to, you can play around with these, but just leave it on 8-bit for now. And composite video, leave it there, leave this on square. Do not change it at all, leave it on 1 point square. So apply. Okay, and then now you're going to import your files you're going to work with, and I'm going to import my media. Okay, and if you're working with QuickTime, because I came from a Mac and I've still got my MacBook that I have, but this is my main computer now, which is Alienware Aurora R4, and it's got NVIDIA graphics card with GTX 680. So that's the graphics card that I have, and I worked with MOV files many times, so I don't understand why it's showing all this stuff in gray. Don't worry about that if that's happening, as long as you got what you shot showing up. So down here is all that I shot, and I edited a different version on this on my channel, and I used which is Final Cut 7 to do that, but I'm going to be showing you here in Sony Vegas how to do something similar to what I did in Final Cut on the Mac version of the editing program, which most people use if you have a Mac. And let's go and do okay, so we're going to use one of these shots. I'm going to take this one, open it up. Okay, and you can drag it onto here to see it, or preview it first. So this is the trimmer, if you want to look at it, and we're going to go to play to see what it looks like. Alright, and he comes in pretty late in there. Okay, so I'm going to drag this down because I think it's a lot easier. Sometimes I use this just to preview before I drag it down in here, and then you can use it to cut it out if you wanted to. What you do here is you play, okay, and then you want a certain part, okay, and you would do that, or you grab this, okay, and you want it there, but then you want it over here. Drag this out to wherever you want it. Okay, and then boom. So you took it from there. Okay, and that's that. Okay, if you wanted to do it that way, which is similar to how you would do it in Final Cut if you were on a Mac. That's why I was showing you that. And then so I'm going to take do it from here, play around with this, and I'm going to start it like right around in here. Cut this. Okay. Delete it, and then go here. And it has an audio track, but there's no audio because I shot the audio separately on a boom mic. So this ain't gonna have audio on the video clip. So, but it's just showing that it does, even though, because it had some, but it didn't get recorded. So it had an audio track, but it didn't get recorded on through the camera. It got recorded through a boom mic. So I'm gonna take the audio off, and I'm going to, if you want to highlight it, left click and drag. But I don't want to do that right now. I'm just going to group and remove from. Okay, see now it's removed. You remove the audio, and I'm going to delete it because it doesn't have anything on the audio. And you're going to check this out, see how it looks. And it's raw right now, meaning it has no color to it, so it's going to look plain and boring. And you want to add something to it, some effects. So we're going to go video effects, and we're going to do like color corrector. Okay, you want to color correct it and make sure that it matches and looks a little bit better. You got some presets, and these are some of the stuff that came with Sony Vegas, like the new blue. I got these from New Blue Effects, and I'll put a link in the description to get the new blue. I have Magic Bullet. I'm not sure if they're showing up on here because Magic Bullet mostly works with like Adobe products, their editing software. And because that's usually what I use Magic Bullet for. And yes, Magic Bullet also works for Final Cut if you're on the Mac. But okay, so let me just play around with this, like blue midtone or blue highlight. You might want to play around with that. So add a little bit of blues in there, or you might want to, I'd say let's just drag the plugin on there itself. Okay. So what you're going to do is, okay, we're going to go here, and we're going to do the default. Drag it on here itself, and then edit it. So we're at the defaults, and we're going to change the color the way that we want it using this. Okay, put it more, if you want a real actual film look like you see in the movies, they make it more, don't pay attention to the middle one if you have something in the trimmer. So if it's going to distract you, just hide it by doing that. Okay, so slide it over, and now we're messing with the blue, and we're trying to make this more film looking. We want this to look more film. So over to here, the mids. Okay, it's going to be blue. Okay, so we're trying to get light with a little bit of a right around there. Okay, and then add some yellows on here. Okay, bring it more towards, let's see, blue again, down in here. Alright, so now we're going to look at that, and that's needs to be a little bit, you're going to have to play around with it a lot to get it to more like the true film look. Most movies do something similar to this. They make it more, especially action films, they make it more like blue, so you can bring it more into the purple. Okay, so there it is, and that's kind of what I'm looking for pretty much. And we're gonna play around with this a little bit more on the mid, so it's too much there, and we're gonna go down here, and we're going to, okay, that's a bit too much. Okay, so that's that. And you can also do like, let's try adding curves, color curves. Color curves is similar to if you ever used Photoshop. It also has a color curve thing. So you're going to play around with this too, because you can mess around with the RGB, the reds. This is exactly the same in Photoshop. So if you know how to use color curves in here, you know how to use it. You can do the same thing with Photoshop. Messing around with your photos. And so we're going to bring this a little bit darker, bring this up some. I know it's not going to be totally perfect because we didn't have the correct, like we really didn't use any film lights to bring this down on his shirt. So it's blowing out there. So it looks crappy. So no matter what you do in your editing, it's always going to stay that way. It doesn't matter because it has to look good on actually, when you're going to shoot it, it has to look good on camera, and with the lighting, your entire scene, everything on it has to look good, so that when you put it into your editing software, you don't struggle trying to get around this, because this is going to be really, really hard to fix, because it's too exposed and it's way bright. And that was because of the lighting in the room that he was at, in the area. So, we're going to play around with this, and don't bring it too bright, because we don't want to mess this up anymore. So I went as bright as possible, and not to where, so that it's more even as much as possible, since I know this and this you can't fix on his shoulders. That's alright. So that's the best gonna get it for now. And that looks pretty cool right there, just using the color correction and the color curves. I usually do that most of the time. I'll just change the color that way, and you can like add some more reds in here, because you want to move it to the red. Yeah, let's put on the highs. Let's add some red on the highs. Okay, so match his skin tone. You want it. Okay, but bring it down a little some right there, and then that's really good there. And so you're gonna preview this. And that looks really nice, not too bad. And it looks really nice already, because the camera that I used was the Sony F3. It's a big film camera, and it takes some time setting it up, because the camera is so big. There's a lot of stuff on there. There's it's got a Kai Pro and all that stuff, so it's pretty intense camera, and it shoots really, really, really nice. And when you add just a little bit of color to it, it enhances it a lot more. And the only bad thing that we screwed up on, like I said already, is just the lighting that we had. We didn't have good film lights. We didn't really have any when we shot this. This is kind of a small project that we did. So it's called Elephants, and the only dialogue the actors had was to say elephants, which it had to make sense. This was sci-fi. So when I shot this with my group, they weren't really good at knowing what sci-fi was, because they were kind of lazy, didn't really want to take this seriously, which I take film seriously, and they didn't want to. So that's why it looks kind of crappy with the lighting on it. It's a little bit too exposed on his shoulders. And see here, when he gets close to the camera, he's not in the light as much, so his shoulders and then it's a little blurry, and the focus is out, because the person that shot this, I didn't do this. That's why it looks kind of crappy the way it is right now. So, anyways, I'm going to add in another clip. So let's go back to Project Media and File Imports, Import Media, and I'm going to add in another clip on this. And this is the next part you would do. Going into the order of how you shot this, look for the clips that would tell your story. So this, maybe this. Or this. I'll do this one. Okay. Shows the door. Okay. The mistake that the person that was shooting this, the mistake that he made was we're gonna group remove from. Okay. And we're gonna delete this. Actually drag that down, so I'm just gonna delete this track. You want to right click on this if you want to insert a new audio track, or if you're on the video one, insert new video track. And it'll be above this. So if I did it, insert, it'll go above that. But I don't need it right now, so we're just gonna, because I'm gonna work as 2 tracks, the video and the audio, just one. So we're gonna delete this. And okay, so right now you could either transition it, and if you drag it on top, it's gonna transition. So I'll show you what that looks like. See, now it's transitioning, but to me, that's in this situation of the clips that I have, that's gonna look really funny. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to copy the effects here. So we're gonna want to, okay, all this. We're gonna, what you're gonna want to do here is you're going to, okay, add it to your entire, actually what I should have did is add it to the entire timeline. So, okay. So if you want to have the same thing, okay. So we're going to delete this from the clip itself, okay. And don't add your effects to the clip because it's just going to be on that one clip only. If you want any entire thing, add it to the timeline here. So go down here, okay. And see this right here? It's going to be into the entire thing. So go to, let's see, color corrector. Okay. Sony color correction. Okay. Color corrector. Add that. And then right here, you can just add another one through here. And we can go to Sony color curves. Okay. Because that's what we had before. Okay. So now it's whatever you do, that's added here. Okay. So whatever we do here, it's going to apply to the entire thing. It's going to match on everything on that timeline. Okay, and we want this to be more of a dark like there, and then so it's gonna take me a while again to get this right because I just did this, and it's a little bit of red and blue here maybe, like right. So I switched it around a bit like this and bring down the red some. Okay, so if that's how you want it to look, that's up to you. It all depends. What I'm trying to do is match this up to how movies do it exactly. So maybe the mid might want to be some red on the mids. A little bit bluish red. So right around in here. Okay. And then bring this to be some red there. Highlights is more right there on the. So right around there, and then let's bring this over to the red. You gotta be careful. Make sure it's not getting too blotchy or scratchy or anything. You gotta make sure. Okay, so let's do that. And I'm not gonna go too perfect, but that's pretty close. And we did some changes to it. So bring this down more to the blue. Okay, right there. That's close enough. Okay. And it's going to apply to the entire thing now. Okay, that's not bad. Okay. And that's film for you. So, okay. And we want this to, okay, so we see his arm. Okay, so, you see the door here. So we want this. Let's split this. And the mistake that the person that was using the camera that was shooting this didn't do a close-up of him opening the door. You just see the door. So this is the closest as we got. We should have got a close-up of his hand opening the door. Okay, so that's that. And then we're gonna go File, Import, Media. I ain't gonna edit this entire thing because it's gonna take a while. In this video, I'm just showing you a little bit of the basics, and then we're going to add like a couple more clips to this and then show you some exporting settings. So, okay. And this has audio right here. So, right here we got some, but we're going to delete this anyways. Group, remove from. Like I said, I shot this separately on a boom mic. And we're going to see here. Okay. He goes right here, right before he goes to sit down. Okay, he greets him. Okay, right there. Okay, there's that. Okay, so we're gonna split this to right here. Okay, so that's a bit too long. And so I try to keep it right here to where you want it. And it's about a minute now into it. Okay, he's walking. And now we're gonna preview this just to see what it looks like. Okay. That's pretty much how I did it in Final Cut when I have it on my channel. That's how I did it. The way that it looks pretty close. even though not everything that I've used is exactly the same as what I used in Final Cut. And then there's that. He's walking in, looking. Okay. Yeah, see. You may, if it doesn't work out and you don't like the way it looks, you may want to delete it. So then he's walking in. Okay. There's that, and then he's right here. Greeting each other. Right there. He's looking at it. Okay. Some of this, because the way this was shot, I would have to bring it into After Effects, because wanted to do smoke effects for some reason, because they're transforming into little kids. So which to me, I was the one directing this, and I wasn't the one in charge of this, so it looks kind of stupid to me. But so you got to make sure you got close-ups, like you got to get import media. Make sure that when you're shooting on your camera that you have something where it's more in different angles on the actors. Let's see, like this. Okay, let's see. Let's do like let's see. Say something like this. Then okay, and it's showing him at a different angle. Right click, group, remove from. Okay, and delete this. Okay, and there's that. Alright. And you got to be careful when lighting, because when you have actors at different colors with their skin, of course, I say people that are black, which I'm not trying to be racist or anything saying black, but anything, what I'm trying to say is when your skin is lighter and your skin's darker, when you got dark skin, it's really, really hard to color someone that's really dark, because you got to be careful that their shadows cover up their eyes. So you got to be really careful when you're doing that, and you got to make sure that the lighting on the camera before you bring this into the editing software, that it's even, that he's lit up the same as this person, even though I know he's darker and his skin is lighter. So you got to be careful on that. And okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this and accidentally delete this part. Okay, and then we're going to show this. So okay, and he's right there, and okay, so maybe we want to do this. So now because you already see it here, you see it here. Okay, maybe you want that, and then you delete this. Okay, you see here, and we're jump cutting when you have no transitions added at all yet, and it's not like this, and we got no transitions. It's jump cutting. So we're jump cutting to the next clip. May need. Okay, so now what I'm gonna have to do is this. Split this so that it looks the way that you want it, and we do this. Okay, there's that. So look at it again. Okay, he's coming to the chair. There's that. Okay, and then he's right here. That looks good. Do that. Okay. And with the audio clips, they were supposed to say elephants, but I ain't gonna mess around with that too much because the audio was kind of crappy. This was not a really good project. I'm just using it for this tutorial just to show you how I messed around with it a little bit, and just showing you how to use Sony Vegas. Okay, so there's that. And okay, so now that we edit it, and if you really wanted to do different transitions, if you wanted to go into different shots, I have new blue ones. There's the basic ones right here. Clock, wipe, dissolve. If you're a real film person and you're trying to do a film project or a film or anything, or you're trying to do what Freddie W does, or Final Cut King on YouTube, or Film Riot, they mostly for if they're using any transitions at all, they're using the dissolve ones, fade through black. So what they would do is at the end is it will fade, and so going to the right to the top corner where it's blue, and it's your fade. You can have it, which you really don't need the fade through black. It'll fade through black itself, right there, without anything on top of it. Or you can just do the fade through black, which really you don't really need to have that, because it's going to do the same thing. Those dissolving. Yeah, so pretty much the fade through black on the dissolve is the same thing as just the basic of this. So you don't really need it. I'd say if you're gonna want to fade through black, just leave it like this, because it's pointless. If you want a different look, then go like this. If you want a different transition, and there's that. But you would only use only use different transitions if you're having it on top of another clip. So if I had this on top of this clip, because it would look better that way. But since it ain't, since they're trying to connect to each other and like that, it would be best to jump cut it. And then if at the end of your video you're done, you're just gonna fade out, and that's that right there. And then okay, so that's the basics on editing, getting started. Just mess around with your clips. You can add let's go to video effects, and you can add actually media generator. Media generators, what this is adding titles, backgrounds, basic solid color background. You wanted a green or something, and you're mostly these solid color background stuff, all this generator, mostly if you're on a green screen and you want to cut yourself out and put yourself on a different background, this would help you out to get started for that. Or if you wanted to, you can even use this as a transition thing. So say if you wanted this, it's black, you wanted to do it that, or if you wanted to flicker or something, make your own effects, because they got flicker in the video effects. It comes with it's like flash or something, film light, film effects. There's that, and then film effects, and you can add flickering with this in there. But since this is not requiring too much extensive editing, that's what I used here. Mostly all this needs is good coloring to make it look really, really nice. And which would you want to do if you wanted to add black bars on top and bottom? I would leave it in the format that it is, and then I would do this. Okay, I would go into let's see, where is it? Cookie cutter. Okay, because I forgot what it's called until I saw this now. It's been a while since I used Sony Vegas, because I've been using Final Cut and on the Mac. So what are you going to do is you're going to add it to here. Okay, cookie cutter. Okay, and what you're going to want to do is, instead of circle, make sure it's rectangle. Okay, and then border, we want the border to be, we want this to repeat on the Y. Nope, we want this size. Okay, square, rectangle, you might want to do square. Okay, make sure, okay, I'm gonna play around with this a little bit. Okay, we want to repeat the X right here. This is exactly what you want. So you want to repeat the X on cookie cutter and bring it all the way up to 10. Okay, square, repeat the X, and then the size, how big do you want it? That's all up to you. But I would leave it on the default edit. Yeah, the size of it, I would leave it on the default. And there's your black bars, like most films used today. and when you're watching a movie or something, you'll see black bars, and it's in HD, and you're watching it like that. And make sure it's applied to the entire track. Okay, and that's that. And then you might want to mess around with this. Say if his head is cut off, and you might want to, let's event pan and crop this. You might want to move this up or down. Move it around. Make sure that, or something like that. To fix it, the position of his head a little bit, you might want to go like this, like that. Now that's what the black bars are best for, so that you can play around with it. And so let's do this, like that. And if you want his whole head showing, and then that's that. On that for the basics so far, and there's that right there, showing that, him going right there. It's a little laggy because the effects that I have that just happened. Let's go here, and you can even change the settings right here on your project, and you don't need to do that right now because you should do that at the beginning. Have it set to the way you want it. That's what you do, and you can change it. Make sure it's on best if it's not, but it should already be there when you go to your properties and do that. And then say that you're done with this. You're going to go to File. We're going to go to Render As. Okay, and you're going to pick the format that you want. So you want this in HD. So make sure that you do, if you're going to do MP4 format, this probably would be best if you want to play this on a Mac or Windows. So if you're going to only play this on Windows, go to Windows Media, go to the, if you're not going to upload this on the internet, but you want to on a computer or something, or you're trying to do something else with it, then you can do the full 1080 24p. Make sure it's the same as this. So this 1080 24p, and that's Windows Media 11. And then go to customize the template. Make sure I'd say quality VBR and Windows Media Audio 9 on the audio, and same for the video VBR. Okay, quality VBR there, high definition. Make sure it says okay, custom, and we want 1920 by 1080, 1920 by 1080. There. Okay, and okay, we don't mess around with that. And make sure, just to be safe, you want it in full HD. Put it on best. Leave stereoscope 3D. You don't really mess around with that too much, so leave that as project defaults. And make sure this is on best. That's why I put it to best. And that's on that. If you want Windows Media, if you're just gonna play this on Windows only, if you got a Windows computer and you don't tend on messing around with the Mac, then leave it on Windows Media. But if you tend on messing with the Mac, like I do, because I also have a MacBook, so I'm messing around with Windows and Mac at the same time, I would do QuickTime. But if you do QuickTime, make sure you have QuickTime Player installed. So I'd say, yeah, like go down here. Okay, we're gonna go to all programs. Make sure you have your QuickTime Player installed. Actually, I'm gonna go to my desktop. Let's go to cancel, and make sure that it's installed on your computer, like QuickTime Player. And iTunes, you don't really need that. Just make sure you have QuickTime if you want to mess around with both Mac and Windows. Because if you're jumping from both operating systems, you have a Mac computer and then you have a Windows. And so we would go back into the render as for QuickTime. Okay. And what we would want to do is, if you want this in QuickTime, let's bring the main concept down. And you would do QuickTime MOV. If you're going to do anything with QuickTime, we're going to do the 3 megabytes. We're going to customize this, and we're going to go to make sure this is high definition. If you're doing a gameplay, 1280 by 720, but since this is a film, and frame rate, we want this at 2396 film. Settings, we want this to stay at 1, like it is, 24-bit. Okay, make sure it says that. Basics, leave that. Data rates, and keyframe every 24 Okay, make sure it's keyframed at every 24. Audio quality, we want this to be ACC complexity and MPEG, so make sure it's that. And we want this to be sample rate, we want this at 48 and 16. Stereo and streaming, if you're going to put this on the internet, do it for fast start. So if you want to put this on the internet and you want to stream for the internet, if you're never going to put this on the internet at all, then do the highest then you don't need to prepare this for streaming. It's going to be full quality, but prepare it, since I'm going to probably put this on the internet because most of your work you want to show it on the internet, so prepare it for internet streaming the best. Okay, and then that, click OK, and then you go to render, and since this is really short, it's going to do it really fast. It's rendered as Untitled right now, and it's going to take some time, a little bit, to render if you have too many effects, and depending on how long it is. So just be careful on that. And this shouldn't take too long to render out. So I'm going to pause the video and then come back. Okay. So now when it's done editing, rendering, and you're going to go to open folder. Okay. And then you're going to, oh, sorry about that, I accidentally clicked that. And then you're going to open it up in the folder that it was into, so you don't have to go searching for it. And it says Untitled because I forgot to name it. So that's why it says that. Because when you change the settings, you got to make sure that you name it to whatever you want. So right now, this is what it will look like. It's a little blotchy because it's for internet streaming right now. So it's not 100% perfect, but it's fine just for uploading this to the internet. It's not too bad. So some of the lighting on this, like I said, was pretty bad. It's exposed too much, and there's just too much light hitting him. There's nothing I could have did about that, but the quality is good enough to post it on the internet, which is what I was looking for with this. So that was what I was trying to get at with the point here. We're just making sure this would be for the internet. And this is QuickTime right here. After this, I'll show you what it would look like inside of WMB if you're trying to do Windows Windows Media Player, I meant. So, yep. So, yeah. And this is pretty good for what I worked with. I didn't have anything too good to work with when I actually did this project. So anyway, so now I'm going to show you exactly how to do this with Windows media format, WMB. WMB 3 megapixels, and we want this to be none, and then we want the frame size to be 920 by 1080, 24 frames per second, and all that, and that's that for QuickTime. And that's how I have it. Okay, so now that's all that was QuickTime. Okay, just remind you all the settings. So now we're gonna go to Windows Media Video version 11, and we're gonna put this in 6.7 or 6.4 HD 24 frames per second because we don't want 25, we want 24. Quality VBR, and then leave it at that, and then VBR on the audio too and video. And that custom, we make sure that this is 1920 by 1080, and leave that at 23. Okay, that's and okay. So then there's that, and we're gonna click on bitrate and leave all that. Just leave bitrate and all that stuff alone, and put it on best and stuff like that. And then Untitled, we're gonna name this to test. Okay, because that's what I'm just going to do. This is just a test right now. Okay, there's that. Oh, and there's a mistake with it that I have on it. The mistake is that it's actually showing part of the screen. So what I would have to do is what I would have to do to fix it, because there's a mistake on part of the screen, is show you here in a second. Alright. The mistake on the screen is the fact that I rendered it in 1.33, which I forgot to leave it in 100 square yeah, so that was my mistake on that part. So that's a mistake that I made. So I gotta fix that because that's a pretty huge mistake that I just did. So it's gotta be 1.00 square, okay? And everything else is fine, quality VBR, and we're going to 1920 by 1080 right there. There's that, and it should come in just fine. I shouldn't have any issues with it, so that should be good, okay? So I don't waste too much time with this right now, so I don't want to have to sit there and have you just watch this. So yeah, because it's going to come out a lot better. You can already see that Windows does like this format. And okay, so now that we're going to play the video and we're going to show you and compare it to QuickTime. I think Windows doesn't really like QuickTime too much because QuickTime is made by Apple and they're not really friendly with each other. But it's pretty much the way I expected it to be. It's coming out pretty nice. I can upload this to YouTube if I wanted to, but I would do MP4 just for in case if you're messing around with two different formats in audio system. Actually, if you're messing with audio, not audio, but what I meant is operating systems. So if you're messing with Windows and Mac and put it in MP4 or QuickTime, I prefer QuickTime just because QuickTime is best for everything. But if you're on Windows, just go to WMV and you should be fine right there. And yeah, so that's pretty much it on this video. Nothing really much else to talk about. That's pretty much it right here. Going right into it. And yeah, so what I'm going to be doing now is just if I wanted to actually change some of the coloring on this a little bit more, I could add like a color curve, because right now all I got is color correction on this. When I went to do this and I showed you guys, I jacked up and I forgot to add the color curves. But really, this is pretty much all you need to know on this. Everything that I've shown you is here and did all of that and stuff. So this is pretty much done and stuff. So I'm not going to really go too much else into all this right here and stuff, and it's pretty nice for what it is. You can go into color curves if you wanted to, and to do this and play around with it a little bit, and I would suggest that you play around with color curves, because it helps to make the coloring a lot better instead of just doing the color corrector. So it's pretty nice, and Photoshop has this, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, so I gotta make sure that I add it. I made a mistake, so I gotta make sure I click on add. That's the problem that I just did, so it didn't show up there. And so yeah, you just play around with it. It brings up the brightness and the contrast with it, with the RGB, and then you got reds and greens and blues. You play around with that, bring that up and down if you want to mess around with that. I don't, when I'm editing video, mostly I'll do it with the color correction, then I'll change the reds, greens, and blues, and mids, and all that stuff. And we're just changing the brightness on the RGB. So we're just bringing it up and down. I don't want to do it too much because I gotta be careful. I got two actors, one's light skin and one's dark skin, and this one right here is the light skin actor, and he's white. So you gotta be careful with making it. Even though it's if I make it dark and it looks good dark with his skin, but then I gotta be careful with my other actor because he's dark skinned. So I gotta be careful with that. So you got some playing around with whatever. Kind of actors you have, what kind of skin do they have? Is it dark? Is it light? Is it brown, black? What color? And playing around with coloring can take a while. And if you're getting into the industry, you can pay a lot of money for this because it does take a lot of time. So it's pretty neat to just mess around with coloring, because that is time consuming in itself, just messing around with the different color effects and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it on this video. Don't really have much else to say on it other than just playing around with the colors a little bit. And yeah, I've showed you all there is to know so far and stuff inside of Sony Vegas. And before getting started, I'm just playing around with the coloring a little bit still. I'm trying to add a little bit more reds in there and trying to darken it down a little bit. I could play around and show you, see, with the dark skin actor, that I had. He is pretty dark now, and you got to make sure to be careful, like I said, because he is, and the lighting on him and his shadows that he's placing on himself is going to be really dark, so you got to be really careful and stuff on how you do your coloring. And it kind of does look a little bit purple, but that's just how the footage was shot in the location, and I added a little bit more blues in there and stuff, so that's why it looks a little bit purple. But the reason why I did that was to show you that kind of like how I did it, but except the way I did it was a little bit different in Final Cut. So that's why it looks the way it does. And that's pretty much it on this video. I don't really have much else to say about it, other than this is just how it looks. And you see that dark skin actor there, and then the light skin and location where it's at. Everything has to be precise. So you have to make sure everything matches and looks good and doesn't come in bad quality. And it takes a lot of time. You just gotta play around with it. So it's pretty nice. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out this tutorial. And I'll talk to you guys later in my next tutorial video. Please check out my Fantasy Art Gaming channel for gameplays. Try to make that my everyday channel where I upload a bunch of gameplays and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it on this video. Please subscribe to all my channels and where I'm at on YouTube. Everything's down for where I'm at on the internet overall is in the description box. Check down below. And thanks for watching. That's it. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.